Yep. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? Oh, man. You can hear me, Delco Steve? The microphone's working. Can't hear it loudly in my headphones, which I hate. You always like to hear yourself really loud. That's why anybody that's worked in radio for a significant amount of time, they're pretty much deaf. You don't want to listen, and I don't jack it up, the volume in my headphones, but when you work with some people like that, I remember one of my first bosses / he was also the morning show host, Greg Henson, who's now in Grand Rapids, Michigan, doing mornings and PDing for a classic rock station. But you could hear, he would take his headphones off. You could hear the station feed in his headphones like it was coming out of a speaker. He would have them up so loud. And you ask him about it, he's like, what? You know, he did radio for like 30 years. So he's deaf. So I'm half deaf. Anyway, I don't even know what I'm talking about. I don't even know what we're going to talk about tonight, other than Devonta Smith and OG Wade's quarterback list, maybe. Because Delco Steve, I texted you and I'm like, yo, I didn't even create the room for us to do the show yet. So my 2 3/4-year-old daughter has very quickly turned into this sweet little toddler, into a total
menace.
Maniac. Total maniac. And it's not letting me change her diaper, not letting me put a new diaper on, just kicking me. And like, literally, it's like I'm trying to put her in handcuffs and I need a taser to get a diaper on. So then I just have to kind of like, and you can't get pissed. It's kind of like, all right, Bella, here, hold this. Here, hold this right here. Like, just like, she's got like this little pig thing from the show Tots on her wall. I'm like, what's Piggy doing over there? Like, you try different strategies. And then she won't let me brush her teeth at night. So it's, no, I'm brushing your teeth. No, mommy's not going to do it. I'm brushing your teeth. So I'm holding her down her changing pad with holding both of her arms down, brushing her teeth as she's spitting the toothpaste back at me. But what are you going to do about it? What can I do about it? You know what I mean? She's not 3 years old. Everything that I do, she fights me on. Everything. I'm not sitting in my chair. I want to sit in the other chair. Like, no, you're sitting in your booster. No, I'm not sitting there. Yes, you are. But the latest thing, the fun thing she's been doing in the last 2 weeks is she refuses to go to sleep. So she was great. 7:30 at the latest every night. Good night. Put her in her bed. She didn't fuss. Now she tells you no. And she's been going to bed later than my older kids. And like tonight, she's climbing out of the crib. So I was trying to quickly get the studio set up so we could do it. I hear my wife upstairs screaming because she was climbing out of the crib because she did not want to go to bed. So, yep.
Yeah, right. You would have more experience with that than I, my man. My mom will tell you that I stayed up because I thought things were happening, and that just rolled over to adulthood. So I stayed up all night. I still stay up all night.
That's the way she's trending right now. And I'm like,
they're the troublemakers, John.
Your sisters are asleep. Bella, your sisters are asleep. And she didn't care. And then she wanted her turtle. That's the other thing. Everywhere we go or every holiday, there's new stuffed animals that are bought for them. Certainly not by me. And we already have, I don't know, 1,000 stuffed animals in our house. Like, oh, so let's buy more stuffed animals. That sounds like a great idea.
Of course.
When we went down to Baltimore, it's like gift shop. And I'm like, really? We're going in the gift shop? I'm like, all right, whatever. We're going to the gift shop or the aquarium.
Yep. Yeah. How many? It's filled with stuffed animals.
Like, pick up stuffed animals. I'm like, no. I'm like, shirt, like some type of I don't know, something. No stuffed animals. What do we walk home with? Stuffed animals. A dolphin and 2 turtles. And the turtles have like this little thing that you can carry them in. So she couldn't find the turtle tonight. It wasn't in her bed. So now I'm down here. I'm in the basement looking everywhere. I'm in every room in the house looking for this fucking turtle. I can't find it. I can hear upstairs going, turtle. So that's what made everything go even crazier. It's like 20 minutes to 9. I can't find the turtle. I'm looking under couches. I'm looking under blankets. I'm looking everywhere frantically. And that's what set her off to where it's like, no, go to bed. No, we're shutting the door. Go to bed. She starts to climb out. A lot of fun. Well, Steve, maybe one day you and Mrs. Delco Steve can have a house full of children.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that one.
I didn't have my first talk 37, right? No, 39. Yeah. Yeah, I'm 47.
It's a young man's game, buddy.
No, believe me, Bella's going to make or break me. I've always said it because my oldest is sweet. She's always been easy. She's going to take care of me. She's not moving away anywhere. My middle girl will probably live in California. She'll be an engineer. She's going to be very independent. And then this last one is going to be what she's probably going to break me.
You're going to be bailing her out of jail.
I better not be bailing her out of jail. All right. Well, we made it for a very special Monday night edition. The Phillies are pissing me off.
They just went the extra innings.
Did they? I saw it was 1-1, and they were going into the bottom of the ninth. So yeah, the Phillies are trying to lose to the 4-12 Colorado Rockies. Despite Aaron Nola had a great outing, but they can't hit. So they are annoying. Two up and 2 down over the weekend against the Pirates. Pirates are a feisty team. So you wanted them to win three or 4, but the Pirates are feisty. But the bats won't wake up, Steve.
You blow a 10 strikeout game by Wheeler yesterday.
Yep. Yeah, and he gave up that grand slam, and I don't even know what inning it was. I was over a kid's birthday party. Six, yeah. Yeah, he gave up the grand slam. I was like, so they're losing this game. He's pitched too well to not have a win. They haven't won a start. He started this year.
Nope.
And he's pitched
his
really
ERA
well.
before yesterday was like 1.2
under 2
or something like that.
It was under 2, yeah.
Yeah,
and that went up with the grand slam, but still he pitched really well up until then. So Phillies are pissing me off. The big news of the day is Devonta Smith and his contract extension, which we talked about it. We talked about it last week when I guess the news came out that they were talking with him. So it's like, so it's only a matter of time until it's done. Well, they really got it done quick, and they really give the Eagles a lot of credit, because if you look at what's going on down in Dallas, CeeDee Lamb's unsigned. He may not be showing up to off-season stuff. Micah Parsons is unsigned, and you know that they want top of the market money. But guess what the Eagles have done with all of their free agents, Delco Steve?
Lock them up.
They've paid him top of the market money. They gave Landon Dickerson the biggest contract for a guard. Jerry Jones doesn't want to pay these guys for whatever reason. Eagles pay everybody. Who don't they pay? Of their young guys that they drafted or a part of their core, they pay them all a lot of money.
Yeah, they got to think that Dallas, that cap hit with Dak is killing them, and they're talking about potentially moving on from him next offseason and it's like, all right, well, if you move on from him, then what? You just pay CeeDee Lamb top of the line money to have throwing him the ball.
Right.
Not that Dak is a top 5 quarterback or anything, but he's above average quarterback for sure.
He should, you know what you do? You pay him, because unless you've decided that you want to move on from him, which is fine, but he did this before. Dak Prescott's made a lot of money, more money than Jerry just would have signed him originally. Remember, he made him play through the franchise tag, and then he paid him. He would have saved. It's like with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins in Washington. If they would just signed him long term,
the double franchise tag.
Oh my! You're idiots. Just sign him. When you identify this is your guy going forward, it doesn't have to be for 10 years. They're real. Look at Carson Wentz. They got out of that in no time. You sign him. If he ends up totally sucking, then you're going to suck for a couple of years, and then you move on. But you got to sign these guys. The Eagles are smart. Dallas is stupid. But here's the contract with Devonta Smith. And I'm reading off of Mike Florio Pro Football Talk, because when you see the numbers that are put out by the agents or by the information robots like Schefter, they're giving you whatever the contract is. They're not giving you what the real contract is, right? Yeah. So a lot of times
they're giving you the max numbers.
Yeah, which a lot of these contracts, they're never going to see years 4, 5, 6, 7 or whatever. But it's a $20 million signing bonus. A small base salary in 2024, just over $1 million. And then you have guarantees.
Well, the 2024 is the 4th year of his rookie deal still.
Right. And then they bought out his option.
Did they buy out the option? I saw it was through It was the option plus 3 years. I could be
Well,
wrong, but
no, you're right. But like, so it's $15 million for they're just able to
they're giving him
reorganize the
money now.
contract.
They're giving
Yeah,
him
by
money
giving him the
now.
money now, but he was supposed to make on the 5th year option. He would have made, I think, 15 million in some odd
Yep.
dollars for it. Fully guaranteed. So 2027, he's even having guaranteed money, but that's if he's still with the team in 2026. So really, as they try to get to the end here, the deal is
It's
a new
through 2028, right?
right,
He'd be a free agent in 2029.
which if they're going to keep him, they're going to redo that deal anyway and give him more
Exactly.
money and whatever. So it's basically 3 years and 25 million a year. The new money average is 25 million. So
Yep.
you're supposed to make 3 this year and 15 and a half next year. So the 5-year deal from the signing is 18.79 over 5 years, including this year, next year where he's still with him under contract, and then 3 additional years. So, so I mean, he signed up for really the next 5 years, which is exactly what you want. I don't think you have to worry about this guy. His game isn't built on speed. He's young.
Yeah, he's a tactician.
He's committed to football. You don't have to worry about him drag racing or any of the other shit that you see from some of these players that are out there. I mean, he's when you finally hit on a wide receiver, you damn well better lock him up long term and give the Eagles credit. They didn't even think about it. So,
and they did it in a fashion where it looks like they paid him just as much as AJ Brown, and AJ Brown's not going to be pissed off that he's not the highest paid receiver on the team.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Little caveat there.
So that's the next question. And we talked about this last week. I was saying, can they really pay 2 wide receivers $25 million a year? And your point was, and it's correct, if they structure the contracts in a certain way, they don't have to pay both at the same time. But Devontae starts making the big money in not this year, not the following year. The 3rd year is when he's making the big money.
Right, and that's when AJ's off the books.
Unless they're going to extend him.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't believe for a second that you're okay with one above average or great wide receiver. You need more. And I look at Miami. Miami's they're gonna have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Waddle's the same draft as Devontae, so they're gonna have to pay him at some point.
Yeah, but the thing is, he's never gonna get as much as Tyreek did.
No.
Well, you can't. There's no way he could justify
Tyreek's making 25. He more or less has the contract of Devontae 30. Smith. I think that maybe it was the original one that. Yeah, you're right. The new one he's making 30. Yeah. Well, yeah, he shouldn't make $30 million a year. But can you afford to pay $30 million and $25 million to 2 wide receivers? It's $55 million to 2 wide receivers.
It's like you just said with Devontae Smith. It's going to be backloaded. It's not going to be, not that it's backloaded, but those years and where the big money comes in, 3 years down the line from now. So what Tyreek will be in year 4 at that point?
Who knows?
Or on the last year of his deal. And Tyreek, you never know when players say this kind of stuff. Tyreek said he's not playing past this contract for the Dolphins. He said he's going to retire. It's possible. I don't know. It's possible, but he could also be like, someone's going to give me another $100 million for 3 years. I might want to do that.
It's too much money to say no.
Exactly. And if he's still producing at a high level and he hasn't had any significant injuries that slows him down, that speed doesn't just disappear overnight. Like he might lose a step, but he's still going to be faster than a lot of guys in the league.
But it's like Deshaun. Deshaun really didn't lose his speed. Obviously, he wasn't as fast in his 30s as he was early, but he could still burn anybody, even in his last couple of years.
He was doing it he had a couple of 70-yard bombs with the Raiders, I believe, at the end.
Yeah, I mean, his speed was there. He just couldn't stay healthy. And Tyreek's shifty as well. It's just not all about speed with him. He is so difficult to cover. He really is. But anyway, all right. So listen, and I see that Papa Yankee says they spent a lot of money on offense this season. I don't know. Well, I mean, they re-signed their own young core players. I can't say enough
would you be happy with them letting Landon Dickerson walk or, Mailata walk in a year or two? No.
Yeah, multiple time Pro Bowl young second-round draft pick who is a stud and has stayed healthy. My worry was he was never going to be able to stay healthy. And he's a stud. Yeah, you need to resign. I mean, here's the problem. Everybody looks at the contracts and says, wow, that's a lot of money to be get. everybody's making money in the NFL these days. And what makes it so important that they hit on their draft picks, because you need some guys that aren't making $10, $15 million a year. So you've got to hit on your draft picks. If you can get a second or third round draft pick that turns into a starter by year 3, he's making $2 million a year. Yeah, like that's what you need.
Especially if they're doing it in year 3 where you can extend them after year 3 and not
like
have to,
Landon Dickerson.
And not have to just it doesn't have to be a monster deal if they're starting in year 3. Because it's like, all right, we saw progress. And then it's like, all right, here's a little taste. And then the next one's the big one.
Yeah, Brian, I was saying this last year. There's a huge, I'd be, of course I would want to raise if I'm AJ Brown. Look how he's performed since he's gotten here. So that may be, here's where I think the rubber meets the road with AJ Brown. It's after next year.
Oh, if he puts up 1,500 yards again this year and scores 12 touchdowns,
you're gonna have to pay him or not, or get rid of him.
Yeah, and at that point it's cutting time, not trade time, because there's only 1 year left on his deal. There should be no really dead money at that point. If you trade him, you're not getting really much for him at that point.
So we just went through the same thing with Hassan Reddick. They got maybe a second round draft pick.
But Hassan, maybe saying that not being able to trade him is one thing, but Hassan is, like we discussed this before. Hassan's never been an issue in the locker room, to our knowledge. He's never outspoken to the media, where AJ Brown has had that
he's a pain in
him. Exactly. So teams might be less likely to divvy up for a player like that.
Well,
but if you need it, like look what the Texans did. They paid up for, or not that they really paid up for Stephon Diggs, but they gave up a second round pick and got some other stuff back.
And they were more than happy to do it. And the Bills were like, you know what?
Phillies win.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look to see who had the walk off. Thank God.
It was
some of these games.
What's his name? Pache.
Pache? Oh, love him. Came in as a pinch runner for Schwarb. So he scored?
No, he hit the single, and Stop was on second, I believe.
So he came in as a pinch runner, and then he got in a bat in the 10th inning. And he gets the RBI. Phillies win. Whit Merrifield still didn't get another hit. He's batting 107. He started to piss me off big time.
Is that good?
Yeah. All right, Phil's win. Excellent. All right, so everybody's happy with the Eagles. And here's the other thing, right? Someone had this earlier in the chat. When's the last player? Because you see this all the time. All right, when's the last player that you were like, oh man, the Eagles just can't afford to sign this guy, or it was like the Eagles didn't want to sign him because they don't want to spend the money? And I'm not talking about guys like Vitae or whatever. Like you realize that you can't afford to pay everybody. And Vitae goes out and he gets that big contract because he's coming off a Super Bowl. And so like he wants to, like this is his opportunity.
Isaac Sayamalu.
Sayamalu last year. He was a good player. You can't afford to pay him $10 million a year to be a guard. Like that's why you draft guys. Sayamalu, right. Guys like that.
Especially when you have the guys around what you have, where you could that grouping of players on the offensive line, they build each other up. So if you got 4 studs and you got one average guy, he's not going to stand out as much.
Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Mailata. If you have to have a rookie guard and not Lander Dickerson, if you have to have a rookie guard in there, you have a rookie guard in. Like, what are you going to do? Or a journeyman? You got to figure it out. But never. And think about after the Super Bowl, when they won the Super Bowl in 2017, a lot of their depth left for big contracts, and then they were done. Bo Allen, who's the tight end that did the Philly special? I'm blanking on his.
Blanton or no,
Blanton,
not Blanton. That's baseball. Oh my God,
I can't.
It's something with a B. Burton.
Trey Burton. Thank you.
It's close.
Yeah, so like those guys leave, they get big contracts. It most often doesn't work out. They get paid and whatever. So when did that ever happen with the Eagles? Where the Eagles, like, look at Jerry Jones and the Cowboys right now, and that's their MO. They don't pay guys. That they get in contract disputes. When have we ever had where the Eagles don't sign guys or don't pay guys? Or
in the last decade, it hasn't happened. The last one I can think of is T.O. Legit.
Yeah, that's like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? That was Joe Banner, and that was a mistake.
Oh,
It
100%.
was. That was a mistake to not have handled that situation differently. But they pay everybody, and you know why? Because they can just cook the contracts. They just pay a lot of money now, and they kick everything down the road. So Jeffrey Lorie is willing to spend real money.
That's why I say Jeffrey Lorie is the best owner in the city, hands down. I will never criticize him. He makes Howie's job so easy. He makes Howie look great all the time and gets no credit for it. You have an owner that's willing to pay up the guaranteed money, and it doesn't hurt his pocket, or he's putting his money where his mouth is, risking it to make sure his team's got the flexibility to make the moves they need to make.
Middleton's went into this the luxury tax, and his quote that he had was that when he dies or whatever, nobody's going to care how much money he has, right? So he's out there spending money. I mean, like, he doesn't have to spend all that money. He could very easily say, like, hey, listen, we're top 5 in salary or top 7 in salary or whatever. They're not selling out the ballpark every night, but they realize what happens down at Citizens Bank Park if they win. People like to go down to the games. So
and they make all that money back in October and late September if they're good, if they're competing.
Huh. Does Jeff Lorie get appropriate credit now? I guess I mean, it's not like it used to be where he would always get the gold standard shoved up his nose, which he deserved. He said it. But do you remember? People remember when what they used to like to say about Jeffrey Lorie is he just wants to make it to the playoffs, so he gets playoff games. He doesn't really want to win. He just wants to be competitive enough, but he doesn't really want to win. It used to be what they said about him every year with Andy Reid, Jeffrey Lorie. And they just weren't good enough to win Super Bowls back then. But
I don't know. I'm not saying he gets no credit whatsoever, but for every person that says Howie Roseman is the best GM in the NFL, no, there's not that many people saying Jeffrey Lorie is the best owner in the NFL.
He's not beloved.
But
you're right.
The only reason Howie Roseman can even have a chance to be the best GM in the NFL is because of Jeffrey Lorie. If you put Howie Roseman in San Diego with that ownership group that never spent, or not San Diego, LA Chargers, that never spends money, then no one would even know his name. Telesco was there for years and just got fired, and that's the first time anyone's ever heard of him.
And Jeffrey Lorie isn't an absentee owner that's just gotten lucky because he hired a great GM or a great coach. He's very hands-on, and he was criticized for it, which, like, you can argue that maybe he was too involved in personnel or whatever the case may be. But look at the Giants, and they won some Super Bowls, but they were very fluky Super Bowls. Look at Washington, what a disaster they were. Look at the Cowboys, right? Look around the NFL, and I can tell you that a lot of it starts with ownership, right? Like, why do you think the Bears are so shitty every year? They have bad ownership, which means you make bad hires when you're hiring GMs, which means you make bad hires when you're hiring coaches, which means you make bad draft picks and you make bad decisions. And Jeffrey Lorie for a long time has made a lot of good decisions, has made a lot of good hires. Getting rid of Doug when he did, he could have very easily said, you've earned one more year, you won a Super Bowl, you went back to the playoffs, you went to another playoffs, you had a really bad year. Of course he's coming back. Now, he knew that it was time to get rid of him, and he was right. If you wait another year, you have another shitty year. That's another year that you're trying to get back to where you were before. Man, they pivoted so quick. So he's a great owner, Steve. It's a great comment that we may realize that he's a good owner, but we don't talk about it a lot. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like, we're not doing Jeffrey Lorie appreciation shows. Maybe we should.
Well, this is the start of one for sure.
All right. Well, yes, Jeffrey Lorie. We are big fans here. All right. So so the 76ers, and then we'll get to something else here. How are you feeling about the play-in game on Wednesday there, Delco Steve?
It's kind of crappy that it's against Jimmy Buckets, but I think they should win. How do they? If you got to go balls out for this one game to make sure you're solidified in that 7 spot, you can't fall. You can't go to that 8-9 game.
No. If they lose to the Heat, I'm pretty much out.
It's like, even at that point, you might as well lose the next game if you're playing the Celtics in round one. Not that I'm saying they can't beat the Celtics, but if they're going to beat the Celtics,
they can't beat the Celtics.
They can't beat the Celtics in round one. They can beat the Celtics when the pressure's on the Celtics later in the tournament.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, they're not.
And Embiid's had, however many more games to get back on his feet. Not that he hasn't been playing great since he's been back, but it's still only a handful of games. You want him to play,
Or maybe getting the Celtics early when they're feeling really good about themselves. No.
I want to wax the Bucks in the first round. So
they're not even going to. The Bucks are the third seed. They're going to get the Knicks.
Oh, the Bucks fell to the 3?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. So here's the good thing. That I feel really good about the play-in game. This is the year to exercise the demons, right? They lost to the Heat. Jimmy was yelling about Tobias because they kept Tobias and not him, and he was all mad. And Joel Embiid, that's his boy. And Embiid comes out after the game, is like, "Oh, we need more toughness on our team." So they end up signing PJ Tucker because of it. And they're going to get rid of him. Remember how that series ended, where Jimmy more or less just manipulates Joel, and he takes it. I fucking hate it. But like this is the opportunity for the Sixers to exercise those demons, and I think they're going to do it. And they get one win. Now you set yourself up against the Knicks. I like the Knicks. They're a cute team. The Sixers can beat the Knicks in a series.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. And then okay, but even better if you do beat the Knicks in the first round, and you got Milwaukee and the Pacers in the second round. Like that's it's pretty good. Pretty good path.
I'm just telling you. It's pretty
set up pretty good if you get the 7.
I kind of like where the Sixers are right now. You avoid the Celtics until later on. You can beat the Knicks. You can beat the Bucks. Doc's going to choke it away. Let's just hope they can beat the Pacers to get you there.
Right. And the Pacers had the Bucks number this year.
Yep. Yeah. No. I mean, would anybody be surprised if the Bucks lost, especially how they played down the stretch? So I actually feel I like where the Sixers are right now. There's no expectations. And that's something in previous years. There's always been expectations. There's very low expectations. And not that we're going to be okay if they lose, because we're not, but still, you're not the number 1 seed. There's not going to be a big focus on, the Sixers going to choke it away again. The Knicks really don't have the experience that the 76ers do. And Brunson has developed into a really good player. They have some good players on that team. But
they'll be without Randall.
Yeah. And Embiid's size presents a real problem for them. It really does.
100%.
So in a series, it's gonna be a good one. I got some Knicks friends from when I worked at the national network, CBS Sports Radio. My update guys and my producers were all big Knicks fans. And I told them, like, yeah, your team's really cute. It's nice. You have a really cute team. And they were like, what are you talking about? Like, you're not winning.
They're pretty tough. They're
good.
They're good. They're like a hard-nosed team. They don't back down to nobody.
Honestly, I wish our team played like they did.
Yep.
And a lot of that's Tom Thibodeau. I'm surprised he's still getting through to the guys. Normally with him, he'll have an immediate impact. He straightens their asses out. And then guys are like, all right, dude, I'm tired of hearing about you. But they got the right guys on the team because they haven't tuned them out at all. They play hard. They play hard defense. And they can shoot. They're skilled. So it's going to be a good series.
He's been playing his guys like 40-something minutes a night for, the last month. It'll be interesting to see how they hold up for stamina-wise going down in the playoffs.
Now, so Jay Wright's probably rooting for New York, rooting for the Knicks because his entire team is on New York. So
Hart DiVincenzo and Brunson. Am I missing?
They
traded. Didn't they trade Diacono? Wasn't Diacono there?
Archie Diacono.
I think he was. I think he was there at the beginning of the year, and then they traded him.
Let me see. I don't know why I'm blanking on it. I think you're right. No, he traded him from them and they released him. Why'd they release him?
No, they traded him to guy. You got to keep the vibes guy.
I like him. He's all right. He's a bench guy.
Yeah, he's whatever. Like, come on. There's got to be worse 15th and 14th men in the league.
Apparently not. But yeah. Well, Brian, I don't know if you know this, but if you Google my name, I am a master pianist. It's that what it says that I am if you Google my name? It
Comes right up under your employment history as in your Wikipedia.
well, the Wikipedia has it's not there, right? Yeah, but the Wikipedia has me being like a musician or something. It is not me. It is not me. All right, so Sixers feeling good. All right, so official prediction. Yes or no? Because so here's what we're gonna do this week. Because man, I got so much shit going on right now. So we're gonna Steve, can you do Thursday night? Because the days of us doing 4 or 5 nights a week are officially over.
Yeah. Thursday night's good with me.
All right. So no Tuesday, game on Wednesday. We'll be back on Thursday to react to it. So win for the Sixers?
Definitely.
4.5 point line.
It's gonna be close. It's gonna be right on that.
Ah,
I would take the Heat with the +4.5.
See, I like the Sixers over the Magic the other night there. I think they were 7.5. And it's just so tough because they could literally be up by 15 points with a minute left and a couple of garbage threes and a missed foul shot and another garbage three, and they bust your spread. But I hate it. Hate the NBA. But I was dead on that. All right. So I a lot of OG Wade actually hit me up with this, but then a lot of people also reached out. Michael Richmond reached out. So in the offseason, Delco Steve, there's a lot of people that come out with their quarterback lists. ESPN.com has kind of a group one. Chris Sims famously has a quarterback list.
Chris Sims is brutal.
Yeah, he intentionally does stuff to make people mad. He's such a troll. But, I mean, honestly, OG Wade's list for me is probably the creme de la creme, I might say.
How can you even say that? Maybe after you start at 2 and you fit Hurts in somewhere else.
All right. Well, here's OG Wade's quarterback list. We're still waiting for your first mock draft, Steve.
I'll have some time in the next couple of days now.
All right, sure. All right. Well, here it is if you can see it. So I don't know what the criteria was. I'm assuming he called in the WIP today with the criteria. But here is OG Wade's 2024 NFL quarterback rankings. Jalen Hurts won because, of course, Jalen Hurts is one. How could he not have one? So like that thing I don't even care about, right? Like he puts that's a part of his shtick. That's
what it's going to be,
right? Mahomes 2, all right. Jared Goff 3, and he did this last year as well, where he had Goff really high up on the list. I mean, I'm not going to tell you that he should be 3, but Goff has turned back into a top 10 quarterback, right?
It's closer to the number than it is being wrong. You know,
right.
like if we had him at 15, that would be way more wrong.
Right. No, all right. That's actually a good comment. All right. Joe Burrow 4.
Fine.
Dude's got to stay healthy, but he's unbelievable. Russell Wilson at 5. Like, come on, dude. What? So does this
disqualify him right there?
Well, what I'm asking is this is right now. He's obviously projecting this year? This has nothing to do with the past. Russell Wilson's closer to being out of the league than being a top 5 quarterback.
Correct.
Or at least not being a starter anymore. I don't think he's going to be a backup. If you look at the numbers,
he'll get the Carson Wentz treatment once he's not a starter.
Yeah, for sure.
He's too much to have around. Yeah. Oh, our guy went down. Now we'll bring you in to be the starter. Like that kind of thing. Like we'll leave you as a free agent until we need you.
Yeah. And yes, please, there are some spelling errors here. So sorry. Aaron Rodgers 6, Lamar Jackson 7, CJ Stroud 8. Where do you have Stroud on this list there, Delco Steve?
I mean, if off the top of my head, Mahomes, Hurts, Burrow, Goff, Lamar, like obviously no in particular order.
Man, Stroud put up huge numbers last year, so it's
I can't get any at the earliest I can put him 7.
Yeah, I'd say that's
the earliest I can put him, and that's that's not getting critical on the guys in that area.
So I think if you're doing, because really it's like, all right, what's the criteria of the list, right? Is it just purely projecting? Is it what he did last year going forward? If we're looking at, all right, he's coming off of the year that he was last year, but you're also projecting where he's going next year, then that's the way you look at. I mean, there's no way you could do that with Russell Wilson because he's not getting back to being that quarterback. That's silly. Yeah. But a guy like CJ Stroud, you could say what he did last year, where he was
second year jump for rookies,
man, and he was an MVP candidate at the end of last year, and then he takes that second jump. They've added to the offense. You could say, all right, he's a top 5 quarterback, and I'd be okay with that. It just depends on the criteria.
Yeah, right, if you're just going on a 2024 projection, yeah, you could say he could be a top 5 quarterback. If you're saying he's a top 5 quarterback going into the year for what he's done, like that's asinine.
You can't really make that case because it's 1 year. All right. Yep. So then you have Josh Allen at 9. Where would you have Josh Allen? And
if we're doing it just for the 2024 season, it's probably not a terrible spot considering as of right now they don't have too many weapons. He's going to win them games regardless because he's too talented not to.
But it's also he's too good to have at 9. I totally disagree, and I'm not telling you.
I'm saying he'd be a few spots. He'd be a spots higher, but that's not. I wouldn't have him in the top 3 this year.
Not anymore.
If we're just going off of projecting for 2024 with the offense that they have constituted at this moment. Again, drafts in a week, they could draft a big name receiver, or they could trade up for a receiver. You never know what they're going to do.
Justin Herbert's at 17 as I look down the list here.
That's asinine.
Well, but also, like, here's where I'll agree with OG Wade, because what he'll say is you have to win. Like, he cares more about winning on this list. But then, like Russell Wilson, like he'll contradict himself with the winning. Justin, he's on the clock for me. Justin Herbert. This is the year where
I think if you put Herbert on the Dolphins, like when the Dolphins could have drafted him, that team would have won a Super Bowl.
Well, I don't know about that, but to your point, would they have won a playoff game? Yeah, probably. Well, you just get Jim Harbaugh's going to go there and they're going to win playoff games now.
Yeah, Staley was just such a moron. It was like I'm all for the analytics and go for it in the crazy situations by all means, but you just can't flip.
He's an idiot.
It's like if you're going to do it, you got to do it. You can't all of a sudden pick and choose when you're going to do it, and then because when you get it wrong, you're wrong every single time.
And you lose. And I mean, it just felt like every time he would lose every one. Every one.
If he tried to play it safe, he lost. If he was aggressive, he lost. It's just like, dude, you got to do one or the other and just stick with it.
No, it's so
but true. No, but as I'm saying, if you gave him McDaniels in Miami, the last couple of years, and then you had Tyreek and Waddle, and
he's scheming guys open and stuff, as opposed to whatever the hell was going on. And
then you've got that laser instead of to his duck arm. Like, my God, that offense would be
with
scary.
That being said, now it's time to win. He's got a coach.
Yes,
so I don't want.
Coach now. And now it's definitely put up or shut up time. 100%.
Yeah,
and they're designing their offense to be a run heavy scheme. It's going to be hilarious.
All right, so here are the quarterbacks I put above Jalen Hurts right now. All right, Mahomes, yes. Burrow, yes. God, man, it's tough because I try not to.
Let's make our own criteria and then make the list. How do you want to rate the criteria?
So talent? I'm not going based on like Aaron Rodgers isn't any higher on this list because he's won MVPs and he's won a Super Bowl. He's also 40, right? So this is right now going into this season.
Talent based on going into the season. I'm with that.
Going into the season. Yes, going into the season. I don't care. Aaron Rodgers doesn't get anything else based on what he's previously done, other than he's a good player, and I expect him to be a good player. So that's mine. So Mahomes, of course, right?
Definitely.
Burrow?
Yeah. He's still got Higgins and Chase.
He's a stud.
Yeah. It's like he's got a freaking rocket, and you give him those two receivers. If they stay healthy, he's going to put up numbers. And he stays healthy, they're going to put up numbers.
Aaron Rodgers.
Ahead of Hurts?
Yeah. I'm asking. 2024. This is not for the next 3 years or the next 2 years. This is 2024 going into the season.
Hurts just because of the injury. And I'm not confident on the Jet. I love what the moves the Jets have done with the offensive line.
I'll never.
but it's got to work. It's got to work.
No, it might work here. It's not working with the Jets. No way. All right, Lamar.
Yes.
Yeah, just won the MVP. But again, like Lamar, he also, like, the Ravens can never make it past a certain spot, and we've seen Jalen do it. CJ Stroud.
God, he was so good.
It's tough not to put Stroud ahead of him.
Oh, I want to say yes so bad.
It's tough not to. It's only for a year.
I'm going to say yeah.
So you put Stroud ahead of him. See, here's the problem. Here's what
I like that offense right now.
Here's what I was saying earlier, or trying to say earlier, that I'm trying to remember, because I should, through the Bills game, because he was really good, right? Like, he was really good. He wasn't
right.
He wasn't. He wasn't healthy. I don't blame a lot of that stuff, but the coaching was terrible. The play calling was terrible. And I've seen this dude play really, really MVP type well. But I also just watched the league say, hey, we're going to blitz him. And the Eagles didn't have an answer for it. So it's a little bit worrisome. I'm not going to lie. I still think he's a good quarterback. But Stroud looks like he's the next guy, right?
Yeah, definitely. He's the next guy to take that you're looking to take that step in the upper echelon of quarterbacks.
All right, Michael Richmond brings up put most of these quarterbacks with the talent on the birds, and how many of these guys are better than Hurts? In this organization, with a winning organization, you put Herbert on this team. What are the Eagles doing?
I love her. I am a Herbert. I am unapologetically a Herbert supporter. I think the dude's a stud. I think he got shafted in so many games where he won game. Like, everyone's like, oh, he needs to win. He's put them in position to win games where his moron of a coach does stupid shit and they lose at the end. So I don't even know. I think there's an asterisk on his win-loss record. I think he would crush it here. I think we'd be one of the best. We'd easily be one of the best teams in the league if he was.
But isn't there something to Jalen Hurts', and that's why I want to throw the end of the season out the window, because he plays big in big spots. And to me,
well, that's what I'm saying. I think Herbert plays big in big spots too.
Does he?
It's just he does, because he leaves the field with the lead, and then his defense gives up like an 80-yard touchdown drive. Like, I don't know. It happened a lot in the last 2 years.
I need this. I guess I haven't been paying as close enough attention as you are.
Oh, dude, they blew so many late game situations just because Staley was
Herbert. Now you wait until this year when all these lists start coming out, not the OG Wade list, but when these lists start coming out, and you know what's going to happen with Hurts? He's not going to be in the top 5 of any of these lists.
No, not one. He's going to be lucky to be in the top 10 of some of these.
You're right. There's going to be a lot of people that are ahead of him. And hopefully
there's going to be a lot of overreaction to a bad end of last season. All right. We know that. Like, we know what that is, and that's fine. It's like, we know we have a top 10 quarterback. Who cares what the national media says? Don't even get your panties in a bunch.
Well, he should still be a top 10. I mean,
no, he should be. But I guarantee you, with some of these young guys coming in and how they played in the last few years, they're gonna bump them. I bet you CJ Stroud's ahead of Hurts on a lot of lists.
Agreed. Josh Allen ahead?
Yes, definitely.
Tua Tagovailoa.
No, give me Jalen.
Dak Prescott.
Jalen.
Herbert. Ooh. Yeah, I think that it's fair for those players. And outside of that, it's hard. Goff, it's hard. And Goff did very well last year. And I think he's a good quarterback, but I'm not putting him ahead of Jalen. Aaron Rodgers, sorry, not coming off that injury. I'm not putting him ahead of Jalen. No Kirk Cousins. Jordan Love's another one of these guys, Delco Steve, that
he's going to get put ahead of him on lists.
People are going to project for him to have a breakout year this year.
Yep.
I like what I saw a lot, but I'm not convinced he's ready for a breakout year this year.
That offense was the youngest offense in the league last year, and they still played very well together. So
sure did.
A year later, after they put this stuff together, LaFleur's a great schemer. He comes from that same tree as the McVay and Shanahan's and all them. So I can see it. I can see him being a good year for the Packers.
Yeah, me too.
At least offensively.
They're coming off a playoff year. They should be better.
Yeah, they snuck in at the end and they were just on fire. They should have beat the Red Wings. The 49ers.
They should have.
I got hockey on everyone the Flyers needed to lose one today, so the Flyers are.
So Flyers are dead in the water?
Dead.
Well, listen, Delco Steve. It was a fun season.
It was a fun run. They got to game 81 before they got eliminated. That's better than the last few years.
Oh, listen, the organization seems to have rebounded a little bit. So I did see that the kid they drafted that wouldn't even talk to him. He broke some collegiate record or something with goals scored.
I think he tied his
he tied the Frozen Four. Yeah.
I don't even know. Yeah, he also said he was going to come in. It was going to be a great game for them in the finals, and he was to score 2 goals. They lost 2-0. So
to the powerhouse Denver, the University of Denver,
who have a couple Flyers prospects on the team, which is
they do.
Also fun.
Oh,
yep.
That's good Flyers knowledge. I honestly wouldn't have known there was a University of Denver if it wasn't for the Frozen Four and collegiate ice hockey.
But yeah, the Cutter Gauthier signed with the Ducks yesterday. So
the Ducks, yes, that's why I saw it.
He'll play a game. He'll play one game probably before the end of I think they have a game on Thursday.
So they'll put him out there for a game.
Yeah, to burn a year of his contract. So he's happy. Yeah. Screw you.
Man, what a everything that I hear is like no one understands why.
Dude, he was saying after the draft, he was so excited. He was like, "Oh, I was born to be a Flyer. I was born to be a Flyer."
So what happened?
And I would love to know. And all he said was, "It's a personal matter between me, my family, and my agent." If it's a personal matter, your agent isn't involved. Your agent just knows, like, just come on, just say what it is and get on with it.
It's a joke. All right. Well, there you go. Hold on. The Don had something here. He said, "When's Herb coming on?" So he on the afternoon show he teased his appearance on here. That's nice of Herb. I don't know. He was texting me over the weekend. He tried calling me as well, Herb.
It's his bedtime.
So here's I'm gonna have to do it during the day. I'm gonna have to be like, Herb, are you at home now? And I'm just gonna have to tape it. When did I last talk to him? Here he is. So he sent me a picture.
Oh Christ.
No, he said, but it's so Herb that he just I didn't ask for any photograph of him. Let me see if I can pull it up here real fast. So he was wearing one of that ugly Phillies uniform that they have.
The new one?
Yeah, well, I can't. Oh, there it is. Let me see if I can share real fast. He sent me 2 pictures, actually. And I was like, Herb, what are you sending me a picture for? I don't need a picture, man. Anyway, so yeah, so I'm like, because I had people messaging me on Instagram saying they hadn't heard from him on here, or he really hasn't been calling in the afternoon show with the same frequency, or they didn't hear him in a while. So I'm like, all right, let me text him to see how he's doing. So the information that I got was that he doesn't call in the afternoon show nearly as much, because he used to call when he would be driving the Wells Fargo employee bus, but he's forbidden to do that now. He's not allowed to call.
Distracted driving.
Yeah, well, he used to call and you could hear him coming on the bus and they're trying to ask him questions. And he's just being like, yeah. He's just like, get away from me. I'm on the phone. And I would say on the air, be like, Herb, you can't do that. You're at work.
You got to do your job.
So I guess they tried to tell him. So I also talked to somebody that worked down there at the Wells Fargo Center, and they said, yeah, we tried to tell him he can't be on the phone during the show or while he's driving, but he kind of doesn't get it. And I'm like, yeah, well, I know.
Well, that makes sense.
But he's gotten it now. I guess they told him, we'll fire you if you keep calling in.
Yeah, we're going to fire your ass.
So that if you haven't heard him that much in the afternoon, it's because he's not allowed to. Honestly, when you think about it, that's mostly when he would call was when he's on the bus. Sometimes you get him early in the show when he's still out. He would call middays, and then he called middays at like 1:45, and then he would call us at 2:10. Yeah. Like, Herb, you were just on the air 20
after
minutes
they
ago.
kicked him off the air.
Right. It's like, Herb, you just called. Yeah. Like, it doesn't even compute in his head. that it's not something you should do. So I just put him on anyway. What do I care? It's Herb. So there you go. It's Herb's always good content. Spike Eskin is starting the afternoon show, the first day of the afternoon show tomorrow. I honestly knew that he wasn't down here full time just yet, but I didn't know that. I guess they found somebody to replace him, or he just said, "Hey, you got to get me out of New York." I mean, Jesus Christ, we're halfway through April. It's
been a couple months at this point,
right? Obviously. So it's one thing. Like the audience kind of gets used to listening to Ike and Jack, and now Spike comes in full time. Oh, I'm like, the show will be fine. I'm just saying, like, as a listener, it'll be all of a sudden it's like, wow, all right, so now I'm restarting the show again. And I know he's been on like once a week or whatever, but I'm glad that he's just able to. They can actually restart the show and get going here. That'll be interesting. So I actually have to get out on time tonight. You know why, Delco Steve?
Hit me.
Because Walmart closes at 11, and I live about 20 minutes away from Walmart.
What are we getting on discount?
I don't have any Splenda left, and there's numerous things that I'm totally out of that I need for the kids' lunches tomorrow, and I can't get it from Wegmans. I was already at Aldi today. Have you ever been to an Aldi or Aldi?
Yeah,
they're horrible, but they have good prices on certain stuff. So I had to go get my one daughter likes mango orange juice, and I literally can't find it anywhere but at this Aldi. So I was there this morning and actually there was a listener that was complaining about people on sports radio this morning. And I was like, Johnny Marks, and he's like asking me about this guy or that guy. But yeah, we had a big sports radio conversation at like 8:45 this morning after I dropped the kids off at school.
In the Aldi aisles.
He saw me, and I'm like, all right, like he gave me the look, like he recognized me, and then I'm just like, and he's like, hey, Johnny Marks. I'm like, hey. And then
how often does that happen to you?
I mean, it just depends. I don't know.
A couple times a week.
Anytime I go to the grocery store. There was another guy that over the weekend that he's like, Johnny Marks, like, miss you on the radio, man, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I might be doing something like Anthony went to this network All City and blah, blah, blah. Like I might be. And you can just tell with 99 out of 100 people that you say it, they're never going to listen to it. They're never going to watch it.
They're like, I listen to you because I listen to you on the radio when I'm driving around.
Right. Yeah. Like I listened to WIP and I really liked when you were on the air, but I still listen to the show because I still listen to WIP and whatever. So it's like,
I'm still in the car at those times.
Right. When I talk about being on YouTube with you at night or doing whatever else I could going forward, like Bet Park stuff or whatever, they're like, look at me with a blank stare, like, huh? Like, what do you do? I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, you don't like me that much.
Yeah. So yeah, I gotta make my way to Walmart right now. But all right. So listen, no Flyers, man. I'm sorry, Steve. Sorry, Delco.
Well,
Steve.
Apparently there's some outside shots that I'm seeing, but I don't know. I don't got faith.
Well, listen.
Win tomorrow night and we'll see how it goes.
It's still an opportunity. Yeah. So
better,
and Herb had said after Wednesday, YouTube is what he said. Next week after Wednesday. So he's already promoting his appearance on YouTube.
That's not scheduled.
That's not scheduled. Herb. All right, everybody. Have a great night. Delco Steve. Have a good night, man. I'll talk to you later this week.
See you Thursday.
Off to Walmart I go, everybody. I bring my own bags too. In Delco, do you have to bring your own bags or?
I couldn't even tell you last time I was inside a Walmart, dude.
No, but in the Acme.
Oh, no, Acme. No, they give you plastic bags still.
Do they? Because the Target, they give you bags, but even at the Walmart I'm going to tonight, they only have the paper ones, which, screw that. Give me the plastic ones. All right.
I reuse my plastic bag. It's all good.
Well, that's why I want them. That's why I double bag at Target. I double bag everything because they're my bathroom can bags. I have four bathrooms in my house. So it's like I have one for each bathroom.
Go through a lot of bags.
Right. Yeah, diaper. You need to put use diapers in there. You know what I mean? Like I actually hoard them. I have this big ass box in the garage
That doesn't
probably
surprise me in the slightest.
that has like 5,000 of the bags. So if you need a couple extra bags, I got them.
So you're good, is what you're saying. You're being greedy at this point.
But if this is forever, no. If this
Yeah,
is
'cause
forever, I need this forever.
Forever, because if they get canceled, yeah.
They're not coming back anytime soon.
Nope.
Going to be less and less. Target eventually is going to not have it as well. But anyway,
You can just grab the whole thing and just walk out.
I've taken some extra on more than a few occasions. All right, everybody, have a good night. We'll talk to you on Thursday night. See you.